Here's Peter in Leeds on the subject of Iran. Peter,
Hi.
it's all yours.
George.
Yes,
Hello?
yes, you're on the air.
Yeah. Before I start, George, can I just point out, I'm an ex-forces member myself. I spent 12 and a half years in the army. And my son, he's in the army now. He's just actually come back from Afghanistan. So, I feel I have a right to explain a few things.
Of course you do.
Right. George, I hope the Israelis go and bomb Iran. Because this time, I don't think there's any doubt about weapons of mass destruction whatsoever. They know they're there, and I think the Israelis should go, bomb it, clear it out, and we'll be there to support them.
Well, you're remarkably cavalier with the life's blood of your own son, because, of course, let me assure you that there'll be consequences if that happens, Peter. You're ready to face these, are you?
When my son went out to Afghanistan, he was living in appalling conditions out there, I can tell you now. He was living in a hole in the ground.
What about if he ends up in a hole in the ground, in a box, to which I shall come in a minute? Would you still feel the same then?
Because the lunatics are...
Well, Peter, would you still feel the same then if your son ends up in a hole in the ground, in a wooden box, like so many other young men have? Would you still feel so gung-ho, my dear?
My son joined the army, and he'll go, and rightly so, wherever the army send him.
Well, no, he'll go wherever Gordon Brown sends him. Because it's not the army that sends him, it's Gordon Brown, and Tony McNulty, and Alistair Darling, and that fine body of war leaders in the British cabinet. That's where he'll go.
He'll go wherever he's sent, George, and he'll do a good job.
Yeah, but what if he comes back dead, Peter? What about if that hole in the ground becomes his final resting place? What about if he's in a wooden box? Just like so many other young men, other people's sons, already are. Will you still feel the same?
George, when he was in Afghanistan, I thought about it all the time. In fact, I thought about nothing else while we were out there.
All right, we've established that you're ready to sacrifice your own true son for the decisions of Gordon Brown. Let's move on. There are no weapons of mass destruction in Iran. You don't have to take my word for that. You can take George Bush's. The United States government is not claiming there are weapons of mass destruction in Iran. Even Israel is not pretending there are weapons of mass destruction in Iran. In fact, the only idiot I've ever heard state that there's weapons of mass destruction in Iran is Peter from Leeds, and I've got him on the line now.
George, every single member of this country, every person in this country knows what Iran's got. The Americans know, the British know.
No, Peter, nobody except you, who I'm rapidly reaching the conclusion needs his head examined. Nobody except you claims that Iran has weapons of mass destruction. The argument is about the fact that they might one day in the future have weapons of mass destruction.
They've got them now, George.
Well,
I think
you're a remarkably well-informed man, better informed than the Central Intelligence Agency of the United States of America, better informed than the findings of Mossad and the findings of the British security services. But you, Peter in Leeds, father of a proud soldier, are ready to send your son to his grave on the orders of Gordon Brown, that great war leader, that Churchill of our days, on the basis that you, Peter, know something nobody else knows, namely that Iran has weapons of mass destruction. Am I right?
That's right, George. And I'll be glad the day they go over and bomb Iran and get rid of this nuclear power station or whatever it is, same plans as what they've got in Korea, which we've seen many, many times. I'll be glad. I'll get the Union Jack out and I'll just pray that my son doesn't have to go there. But if he does have to go there, so be it.
Well, I'm glad I never had a father like you, who regarded my blood as cheaply as you regard your own sons. That's frankly one of the most extraordinary telephone conversations I've had in 2.5 years of being the host of this show. So, let's hear if people agree with you. You with Peter in Leeds, who just can't wait for the bombing to start and are ready to sacrifice your own children on the say-so of that great war leader, Des Brown. Who he? He's the Defense Secretary, part-time, mind you, of the United Kingdom. Imagine placing the life of your own son in the hands of Des Brown. Imagine being the father of a soldier and saying you just can't wait for the bombing of yet another country to start. Well, it nearly took my breath away, but it takes a lot to shut me up.